Thank you. I think your analysis is right. And when you get into business, there's a reason why everybody gets into business, and
Right.
there might be different reasons.
Okay.
So let me just give three reasons why people get in business. There are many people who are in business to make an income to live on and to make their life better. And I think that's the bulk of the people. Now, but there are people who are in business because they want to have something to do. When
Okay.
people retire and they're on a higher pension,
Yes.
and they don't want to sit at home the whole day, they tend to go into business, but theirs is not a profit motive. It is somewhere to spend the day.
Okay.
I can run a nice restaurant so that your panelists, after they've done your show, they can have a cup of tea.
Yes.
And I'll socialize.
Okay.
There are other people who are setting up business because they want to sell it along the way. And I think a lot of young people, especially in the IT field, they are setting up a business so that one day they can sell it and make the big bucks, like happens in the US and other places.
All right.
So when you're looking at business and the money we are going to get out of the business, the first thing is, why did I set this business for myself? And just like we've been told, now when you set a business, the lifeline of a business is money. If the business has no money, it is obviously going to dry and die.
Okay.
Because customers hate to buy something called hakuna. And when you sell hakuna, even what you have, they don't buy.
Okay.
So if you walk to the shop to buy sugar and they don't have bread, even the sugar you don't buy. You want to buy where there is everything. And so it is critical to take care of the money that the business is putting in. And just as we've been told, the business is a different entity, the business owner is a different entity.
Yes.
So the business owner must tell themselves, as I send this business, if this is where I'm going to make my income from, how much income do I need to sustain my life and my obligations?
All right.
But on the other side, the business also has its own cost of running. So you cannot run all your costs at the expense of the business running its cost, because you're going to close. And you cannot pay all the business costs while you're not getting anything to your side. And I think that is where planning comes in, and that's why we always urge people, have a business plan, get somebody, if you're not able to do the projections, the financial projections, get an expert to help you do the financial projections. Take time, look at the business canvas, and answer all the questions before you hit the road running.
All right.
And I'm sure if you do that, then the business is likely to turn profitable within a shorter period.
True. True story. All right. I like how he's making it sound so, it's a nice situation where you can plan and do this and then plan for this and plan for this. You mentioned something about transferring risk to an insurance company or, something of the sort, savings and all that. But there are people who don't even see whenever they get to hear of insurance, they're looking at a big corporate situation. I have to be, in an incorporated company maybe for me to consider insurance. A lot of people don't even know that they can insure their premises against fire, their workers, for health and so on and so forth. What other areas, and especially for SMEs, can they look? How can they identify risks and say this is how I'm going to handle it, this is how I'm going to insure this one, and this is how I'm going to get money for this one?
You see, to simplify risk management, I think as a business owner, you just need to sit down and look at your business in terms of what are my key points? Who am I? Where do I get my raw materials? How do I bring them to the business? How do I process those materials? How do I package? How do I sell? How do I take it to market? And how does my client look like? Now, all those touch points, you look at each of them. Like now, if you look at raw materials, what can go wrong with raw materials? They may be bad quality. They may not come in enough quantities. If you look at the transport, there can be a hiccup. So you go point by point by point and look at each stage, what can go wrong.
Okay.
That's risk management simplified. Then at each point you decide, is this something I can live with or transfer it to somebody else? Because you see, insurance has products for very many things. Business loss, something breaking along the way. So you can transfer as many of those as you want.
Okay.
But then again, it's costly. So then the easier one would be to mitigate. Like for example, if you're a supplier, then maybe you want to have several of them, so that you're not relying, so you don't have a concentration risk where you're relying on one person. Maybe if you're processing avocado, you only have one guy.
So
if
that
he says
person
no,
is not there,
you're done.
my business is done.
If you have one transporter, now there are many logistical firms who can bring it to you.
Right.
There you're doing your factory. You have a way of redundancy. So you build in a plan B on everything. That's the best risk management you can do.
Okay.
But as Ngari has said and Terry, at the end of the day, how far you'll go is how much cash you can conserve.
Okay.
And remember, there's a difference between profit and cash.
Okay.
And that's the mistake. Profit, there is not. Somebody can post a very huge profit, but they have no money in the bank. That is, you can be profitable.
Where is the money going to then?
Yes, I'll explain.
Okay.
You can be profitable and be cash negative. You can be loss making and be cash positive. But the ideal situation is where you're profitable and you're cash positive. Now, how do you become cash negative? If let's say you're selling these poofs, if you sell all of them for 100 million,
yes,
I sell them to you on credit. So my profit will be how much? 100 million minus I bought them for 80 million. The profit is 20 million.
Okay.
But you still have not paid me. So I have no cash in my bank. So I am cash negative.
Okay.
So if I do that the second year, I will go bust. A profitable company will go bust.
Okay.
Because now I'll go to the situation where Ngari is talking about, I'll sell no poofs, ndauza hakuna, because I'll have no cash to buy more poofs. As much as I'm sure I'm reflecting profitability.
Yes.
But it could be the other way around, where you're showing losses, but all your sales are in cash. So you have cash in the bank. So loss or profit is actually more of book entry than anything else. Yes, it does inform things like dividends, because again, if the only way the owner can get money out of business, if it's a company limited, is through a salary, which is formal, or the dividend. And a dividend payout can be anything. You are the board. You can say the dividend policy of this company is that we shall pay everything to whatever the entire profit to ourselves.
Right.
The Companies Act does not stop. It allows you from 0 to 100. You can do that. But how well you can pay that cash out, that profit out, is based on cash.
Okay.
If you've noticed, even companies that are quoted at the stock exchange, they have been postponing their dividend. Even big banks, which you shall not name by name. Why? Because of a cash crunch.
Okay.
You see? So ultimately, watch your cash. And how do you do that? In times like this, you want to spread your creditors. You want to have very long credit terms. You want, if it's your bank, you want to work with them and get longer moratoriums, because so that you conserve your cash.
Okay.
So that you don't pay today what you can pay tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, let's take a look at WhatsApp as we continue the conversation. A lot has been said in regards to how you can actually mitigate you getting into financial ruin by even having redundancies. That is something this country has seen a lot. We'll talk about that in a second. But on WhatsApp, this is what you're saying. Hey, movie, awesome conversation. I think a business plan properly articulated with an efficient backup mechanism might just save a business from ruin. Maybe insurance might help revive a falling business. I am Shiko from Kiambu. Thank you very much, Shiko. Okay, totally unrelated question. If I am studying economics and statistics, which opportunities are open for me? Because I am getting confused. Thank you so much to our panelists. You're an economist. What can you do? What can she do?
That's what I studied.
Okay. So she can come here and talk about the cash crunch.
And actually talk much better than I am, because she's more exposed than I am.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at another one. Thank you very much, Shiko. Of course, we appreciate your feedback. Yeah. Hello. One way would be by separating one's personal account from the business account.
Yes.
Again, excellent bookkeeping, whether petty cash or miscellaneous.
Yes.
It's just helpfully to track the cash flow. Thanks. Wow.
I agree.
Okay.
Totally.
Ni watu wanafanya mabiashara kubwa kubwa ama ni ndogo ndogo. Unajua mnaongea kama watu wakubwa. I understand the owner's remuneration is always a portion of the profits so that the business will last for a long run.
True.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. Keep sending your feedback, of course. We'll sample it as we go on. Terry, saving your biashara, sometimes you might need to make some very hard decisions.
Yes.
Cutting down on costs, like you said. If you live in a 2-bedroom, ingia bed sitter, ndio uweze kulipa rent kidogo. If your premise is in an expensive neighborhood, you might need to transfer it, to a much less expensive place. But how do you get to make that very hard decision, and especially like firing people from your company, people who've probably been there with you from the beginning, and now you're telling them, I am unable to pay you, I'm sorry, I have to let you go.
Yes. Some of these decisions are very tough, but you will find in life, if you have been very honest, transparent, and open, even with your employees or your family, when it comes to that time of making that decision, they will be more supportive, because this is information you have been giving them, you have been sharing. Some SMEs run their businesses so well. They share information even with the employees. They show them that this is what we are doing, this is what we are achieving. If we want to get to this level, we need to bring in so much more.
Yeah.
So your employees actually help you achieve your vision, because they also want to keep their jobs. They help you to cut costs. They stop waste. I want to go back to something that Abraham mentioned. Your records, how well you know the status of your business is so crucial in you planning for future decisions. For you to know when to now maybe just fold up and say this business now is no longer viable, for you to know when to move your house, you need to really be monitoring the numbers. And my request is that this is done on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually basis. There are people who buy and sell things, small SMEs, and at the end of the day, they don't even know whether they're making profit or not.
Okay.
I bought these things, I sold. You've not deducted the cost of airtime, the cost of courier, the cost of everything else. So you assume you're profitable, but you're not. So just make sure those records are really clear, because then you know when you're walking into a danger zone and say, this business will no longer run. I need to make some changes. When it comes to you as an individual, if you know that you need this much to survive, and your income is slashed by half, and this has it does not have to do with business alone, even an employed person. Right now we are seeing employees who are getting pay cuts.
Yeah.
I was earning 100,000, now I'm earning 20. Clearly, that your pay slip is also like a business income statement. Clearly there are adjustments that will have to be made. And because that documentation is so clear, you're able to say now, I need to move to a cheaper house. I need to start shopping wholesale, where I am spending a lot less. I may need to change my children's school, etc. So just have a very clear vision on where your numbers are, so that when it comes to decision making, you're able to make that decision. And share it even with your own family.
Yes.
Show them we are now in the red.
Yeah.
So we need to cut back. There is no one who will see you proactively, soberly, trying to avert a crisis and fight you. And if they do, then that should be a very easy conversation to say, I'm sorry, you're not an investment to my business. I will have to let you go.
You're a liability.
You're a liability.
All right.
So just know your numbers, then you're able to make the decision in good time. And people should not shy away from making a decision where you feel that the public will view you and kindly, but you are being true to yourself.
Yes.
Live for yourself.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, Ongare, I don't know if you can hear me still. Are you still with us?
Yes, I can hear well.
She's talking about maintenance and routine maintenance of your books, routine maintenance and checking, areas where you can avert and mitigate a crisis. How then can you do this effectively? Do you employ outside help, people who can actually look at your company or your SME or your situation or your business with a different eye from yourself? Or do you just sit and decide, I'm the alpha and omega of this company and this is how it's going to be run?
We can look at it from many dimensions. When you look at big corporate, when you look at government and everybody, they got the muscle, they got the money to hire the experts.
Right.
They get people who are well-trained, people who have all the resources. Now, at a personal level or at an SME level, you may not have that kind of resources. So you have two options.
Right.
Option number one, which is a very important option even when you hire people, it is necessary to proficiently keep your personal records. And let me say, even at a family level, even at a personal level, it will be critical to keep two records all the time. One, records of the revenue, the incomes you're making, even as a family. Because it is interesting that there's money that comes to the family through the bank and leaves through the bank. There is money that comes via M-Pesa and leaves via M-Pesa. There's money that comes cash and leaves cash.
Okay.
So if you don't have a record of what it is, you will actually even never be able to know what you're managing.
All right.
And that's also true of SMEs. There are people who put money in the cash box, they put their hand in the cash box, they buy the other thing. There's no clarity of exactly which monies came and which didn't come. So the first thing is keeping a good record of the income.
Okay.
Now, the second one, which is also very key at a personal level and even at a business level, is keeping a record of the outflows, the money that's going out, whatever money is going out. At a personal level, you can actually use an app.
Yeah.
There is software for that. Or you can even use old school, a notebook. You know, like the older parents used a notebook.
Oh, yes.
And ideally, record every expense. Every time you open your purse or your wallet to pay something and make sure you keep a record. And as you make payments, as much as possible, generate paper trail. A lot of people make a mistake because there's no paper trail. So accountability becomes difficult. And I'm sure if you think about it, when we are filing tax returns, there's a lot of people paying higher taxes because they don't have the records.
Right.
You know, the revenue they generated, part of it went into expenses, but there's no evidence of where it went, which is always considered like profit on their side. So it becomes important to keep the records. And if you're keeping the records, it's easier to see where you are underspending and where you are overspending. It is easier to make the hard decisions that we just been told you have to make a decision. Take, for example, at a family level. We want to know how much are we spending in transport and what is our transport. Maybe Mr. has a car, Mrs. has a car, we have a bus that drops the children to school.
Yes.
But if you think about your own car, it is not just the car. It is the fuel, it is the maintenance, it is the car wash, it is the parking that you have to do, the Uber somebody else is doing, the bus transport. If you keep a record of that, at the end of the month, you can actually look and say, hey, are we not overspending here?
All right.
And if we want to drop, which of these can we drop?
The
Would
bus.
this maybe help we drop the bus? One person drops the kids in the morning and the other one picks them in the evening. You see, and that's how decisions are made. When you have facts, you are able to make the decisions. But when you don't have the facts, you can't make the decision. And the good thing is, numbers don't tell a lie. They tell you the truth.
True. All right. Let's take a look at WhatsApp as well as we move on, as we come to the tail end of the conversation. Thank you very much for your feedback as well. We do appreciate what you're telling us. So here we go. Good morning, K24. Running business is creation of employment as well as income, generating income. Most of businesses is on trial and error. The ministry concerned should train often the business people. Okay, the ministry concerned. All right. Question. Where your business... Oh, yeah, here we go. Sometimes it forces much concern sacrifice to limit the use in other ends such as luxurious expenses and less essential things and save failing businesses, okay? Question, where your business success or ruin is to be determined by the government, for example, at times of corona, government shut down some businesses. How can one approach this to stopping business ruin? This is Sakan James. Thank you very much, James, for your question and, of course, for your feedback. Business plans are outdated because the environment is dynamic. Things change so quickly that plan easily becomes less useful. Never live within your means. Instead, think how you can make more money, but be agile. Okay, thank you. Abraham, we have literally 3 minutes, so maybe you can summarize this. There's a question that was asked there by that individual, how even the government can come in and just make sure that they can mitigate some of these, situations that business owners are facing.
You see, government, yes, at the end of the day, the buck sometimes post to the government, but it is subject to affordability. Like now, I'm sure the government would want to support a lot of businesses.
Yes.
But it can only do so much. So I think what the government is doing, one of the best initiatives I've seen so far is the SME credit guarantee scheme. If that is well operationalized, what that will do, it will lower the threshold, the perception of risk on those SMEs to a level that then can now allow the normal financial institutions that hitherto perceive those institutions as being very risky. So that scheme by the government intervening will bring that down, and then so the government as an enabler,
Yes.
is better than the government do it all. Because the government do it all, I don't think would be a viable.
All right.
But now to say, just finalize, on the tax issue, and I will not go into details, but I'll just say this for in closing. Tax on an individual is on income.
Okay.
Tax on a company is on profit.
All right.
So it is upon the business owner to see how to use that reality to avoid taxes, not evade.
Yes.
I'm on national television.
Avoid.
To avoid, not evade.
Okay.
Because you see, you pay taxes. You are allowed to reduce the taxes you pay. What you're not allowed is to evade paying taxes.
Okay.
So I repeat again, for the individual, tax is on income. So, but if you're a body corporate, the tax is on your profit.
All right.
So what will be haggling with KRA is what it is that you are deducting from your from your profit until you go to the profit, and then now they tax that.
Okay. Terry, maybe any last sentiments in regards to just avoiding financial ruin and probably even just getting out of it?
Yes. So, like we say, life is a risk. Things will happen. Plan for eventualities you can foresee. And if you do run into that problem, make very quick decisions. Visit the bank, restructure your debt, consolidate your debt. You know, see how you can collaborate with peers. If it is SMEs, look at how versatile your business is. Be able to move from physical delivery to online delivery. Where can you come together, you know, or people of the same trade and cushion each other, open new markets,
Right.
you know, just think differently.
Okay.
Think quickly, act quickly, but also consult and seek
All right.
expert opinions.
Wahome, as we finish off on the conversation, in 30 seconds, what are your last sentiments?
Thank you for, I think this has been very enriching discussion.
Right.
And I've had somebody asking, can government come out and train us? I think we need to understand role of government in business. It is create an environment.
Okay.
Ensure there's a road that comes to where your premises are. There is a regulation to make sure power charges don't get increased overnight.
Yes.
There is police, there's KDF, there's everybody.
Right.
Government cannot do everything for the business owner. The business owner have a lot they can do for themselves. So if you actually want to learn more about business running, now that's not for the government. That is for the business owner. And it is critical that people, and I know a lot of people do that effort, improve yourself, get into industry bodies,
Yes.
get into like-minded people,
Right.
expose yourself, and you're going to learn the new technologies, the new way of doing things, and you will actually have an edge over your competition.
All right.
Because that's how businesses survive.
Yes.
A lot of big businesses world over were never set for by government because it is not government business to do business.
Okay. Thank you very much, Wahome Ngare, for coming through for our show. He is the CEO, Personal Finance Academy. Also, thank you very much, Terry Njerenga, financial literacy coach. And, of course, thank you very much, Abraham Muthoga. Always a pleasure to have you, CEO of Miradi Capital. This is where we say kwaheri as far as money and finance is concerned, and of course K24 this morning as well. On behalf of Jeff Mote and Shiko Kaitani, who is actually coming up next on the Daily Brief, tunasema kwaheri. See you tomorrow morning bright and early.
welcome to the broadcast. This is the Daily Brief on K24 TV. My name is Shiko Kaitani. Thank you so much for sticking with us. I am teaming up with my sign language interpreter, Walter Asewe, today. Keep talking to us through our social media platforms. You can catch us as at K24 TV. And don't forget, we do have a WhatsApp number that's quite active should you wish to engage us on our ongoing discussions right here on the Daily Brief. Well, we will be catching up with our regional correspondents in just a moment to give you the latest, but for now, let's let you know what's coming up on the Daily Brief. Well, there is the commissioning of the Nairobi Central Station that obviously did kick off as early as 7 a.m. today. We will be letting you know the latest on that as Uhuru Kenyatta, the president, is expected to preside over the launch of the new services from the railway station. Sonko appears before the Senate Health Committee. This is obviously over the transfer of the health docket to the Nairobi Metropolitan Services. There's also new excitement over the COVID-19 new drug. We've got an update on that by the company Pfizer and BioNTech, who obviously do have a milestone vaccine offering 90% protection. There's also news on a second COVID-19 wave in Mombasa County. We'll give you the latest on that, as well as the County Assembly's Forum that's taking place in Nakuru. Also, a story on alleged land encroachment from Kisumu County coming your way in just a moment, as well as Harambee Stars squad who are naming their qualifiers for the Africa Cup of Nations. Even as we begin, we always do like to engage you through our question of the day. And today we ask you about what's happening today on the launch on the new railway. And we ask, do you think the rehabilitation of the Nairobi railway network will help decongest Nairobi? Do you think that the rehabilitation of the Nairobi railway network will help decongest Nairobi? Even as we bring you live pictures from the Nairobi railway, let us know your thoughts on that at K24 TV. Yet again is how you can reach us. And remember that WhatsApp number will be at the bottom of your screen. We'll be sampling your feedback in just a moment. In the meantime, the County Assembly's Forum have raised concerns over requirements by the Building Bridges Initiative report requiring them to have degrees. Now, they have also raised concerns over the role of deputy governors in the docket. Kigodho Mwangi now joins us from Naivasha with the latest developments. Kigodho, good morning. Thanks a lot for joining us. What can you tell us?
Niruhusu Wanjiru kuweza kuzungumza kwa Kiswahili ili mtazamaji wa K24 mahali popote alipo akaweza kupata kile ambacho unaweza kuzungumzia. Kwa kweli tunawajeni moja kwa moja kutoka hapa katika kaunti ya Nakuru, eneo la Naivasha, ambako magavana wote 47 wanatarajiwa kuwa wakifanya kikao chao hivi leo kuweza kuichambua na kuweza kuisoma zaidi katiba ama mswada, kusoma zaidi mswada wa BBI ambao uliweza kuweza kuhakikiwa na Rais Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta na mwendani wake na pia aliyekuwa waziri mkuu Raila Odinga. Kwa sasa magavana hao wameweza kukita mizizi katika kikao hapa ndani ili kuweza kuzungumzia masuala tata ambayo yameweza kujitokeza katika mswada huu wa BBI. Kwa kweli wameweza kuzungumzia kuhusu matakwa ya mswada huu ambako wale ambao watakuwa ni wendani wao ama makamu wa magavana wawe ni kutoka jinsia tofauti. Wameweza kusema ya kwamba haya hayatakuwa matakwa yao wao wenyewe, kwa sababu huenda kusiwe na mtu ambaye ana masomo ama wakose mtu ambaye wanaweza kushika mkono kuweza kusimama nao katika uchaguzi kama mwanamke ama mwanamume, na hivyo basi wa mswada huu unafaa kuwapa uhuru wa kuweza kuchagua ni nani atakuwa makamu wao. Pia wameweza kutoa dosari kwa mswada ambao unaweza kusema kwamba maeneo bunge ama maeneo ya wadi yakaweze kupewa fedha za maendeleo, wakisema kwamba kutakuwa na serikali mbili ambazo zitakuwa zina ukinzano wa kuweza kusema ni nani atafanya maendeleo yepi na ni nani atakuwa akifanya maendeleo yapi, ikizingatiwa kwamba wale wawakilishi wa wadi wapo kwenye msukosuko na magavana. Pia wameweza kuelezea mambo kadha wa kadha ambayo pengine huenda yatakuwa ya manufaa zaidi. Anayekuwa nasi kwa sasa ama anayeingia kwenye mazungumzo nami kwa sasa ni mwenyekiti wa wale wawakilishi wa wadi wote kote nchini, ambaye pia ni spika wa bunge la kaunti ya Nyandarua. Akaweze kutuambia kwa kweli wao wanahisi namna gani kama wawakilishi wa wadi, iwapo mswada huu basi utaweza kufanywa marekebisho au hautafanywa marekebisho. Kwao mswada huu una manufaa yepi, na pengine ni vipengee vipi vinafaa kuwa vikirekebishwa. Karibu sana bwana spika. Nikuambie spika, kwa sasa tuko hapa katika mji wa Naivasha. Mazungumzo yamekuwa wale wawakilishi wa wadi waweze kupata degree, wale wawakilishi wa wadi waweze kupata fedha za maendeleo ya wadi. Wewe umeweza kuisoma, umeweza kusoma mswada huu wa BBI. Pengine kuna mambo yepi ambayo yanaweza kuwa yakirekebishwa, na pengine ni yepi ambayo wewe mwenyewe umeona yanafaa kurekebishwa?
Kwa jina ni Ndego Wahome, na mimi ndiye spika wa Nyandarua na ndio mwenyekiti wa chama cha mabunge yote ya Kenya. Na kwanza vile ningetaka kusema ni kwamba kuna nafasi ya kurekebisha hii BBI report. Na hiyo nafasi inaonekana wasiwasi kwa sababu wakati senators walikaa chini na Mheshimiwa Rais na wabunge wakakaa chini na Mheshimiwa Rais, kuna ile maneno walikubaliana na ikasemekana kwamba itabadilishwa kwa report ya BBI. Pia nimeona jana pastoralists wamekutana na kinara wa ODM, na pia ile maneno yote walikuwa nayo ikasemekana itawekwa kwa ripoti ya BBI. Pia sisi wakati tulituma mwito kwa rais wetu wiki iliyopita, ni kwamba alikubali kwamba tutakutana na yeye, na tunafikiria ile maneno yote tuko nayo, ile mawazo yetu yote tuko nao katika ripoti ya BBI. Kwa hivyo hata hiyo itaangaziwa na kwamba itawekwa katika hiyo report ya BBI.
Unapata kwamba katika uongozi kutoka serikali kuu hadi serikali za kaunti na pia mashinani, mtu ambaye ni mdogo zaidi katika siasa ni MCA, ni yule mtu ambaye ni wawakilishi wadi katika eneo lake. Je, unahisi kwamba wale wawakilishi wa wadi wanafaa kuwa na masomo aina gani? Kulingana na mswada wa BBI wanasema kwamba lazima awe na degree. Je, haya matakwa unaona yanafaa na yatamsaidia Wanjiku kwa vipi?
Mimi vile nimesema, na hiyo ndio msimamo ya County Assemblies Forum, ni kwamba wacha watu wa Kenya wajichagulie viongozi wao. Na sisi tunasema kwamba kama ni mtu ambaye hajaenda shule na anataka uongozi, wacha watu wa Kenya wamwangalie na wamwangazie na waamue kama anatakiwa kuwa kiongozi, kama ameenda form 4, kama ni wa diploma na kama ni wa degree. Na sasa hata hii maswali mingi tunajiuliza ni kwa nini huyu mtu wa degree anaweza shindwa na mtu ambaye hajaenda shule? Kwa sababu 70% of our MCAs are not graduates, but they are still able to win 70% of the votes. Kwa hivyo sisi tunasema kwamba wengi wetu katika ma MCAs we are not graduates, na tumeweza kushauriwa na wananchi wa Kenya, na tumeweza kuwa ni viongozi katika mabunge ya mashinani. Yes.
Ukiangalia katika katiba ambayo ilipita, tuliweza kupata MCAs wakaweze kuwakilisha wadi na hawakuwa na fedha za uwakilishi bunge ya wadi. Je, unahisi kwamba mswada wa BBI umeweza kuchambua ama umeweza kutatua shida ambazo ziko kwenye kaunti, ikizingatiwa kwamba gavana ndio walikuwa wanasema chenye watakuwa wakifanya na pesa zao?
Vile ningetaka kusema ni kwamba BBI imeona ni mzuri pesa iende katika kwa ward, na wamesema kutakuwa na ward development fund